Tonight, an MSP is accused of putting a secret camera in a toilet at the Scottish Parliament. Colin Smith denies the allegation. He is already suspended from Labour after a separate charge of possessing indecent images of children. Also on the programme, 3 teenagers die in a crash near Arisaig in the Highlands. The doctor's arrested over claims he posted abusive tweets about his son's rape victim.
They don't like me, because I stand up to them.
We meet a family of show people fighting to save their home from a council regeneration plan.
And coming up in tonight's sport, Russell Martin says the job at Ibrox is not for the timid as he prepares his side for a huge Old Firm clash on Sunday, and 3 Scottish clubs discover their opponents for their upcoming European campaigns.
I'm Laura Goodwin and this is Reporting Scotland. A suspended Labour MSP has denied hiding a secret camera in a toilet at the Scottish Parliament. Colin Smith was already facing a separate charge of possessing indecent images of children. Now he will face a further charge over hiding the camera in Holyrood. His parliamentary access has been revoked and police have searched all toilets and changing rooms, but say no devices were found. Our political correspondent Phil Sim reports.
Colin Smith has been an MSP for 9 years and has held senior roles in the Labour Party. But he was suspended last week after he was arrested and charged with possessing indecent images of children. An additional charge has now been made, accusing him of placing a camera in a toilet at the Scottish Parliament. Last night, Holyrood's chief executive wrote to building users to confirm that with the investigation ongoing, the Parliament's management board had decided to deactivate Smith's security pass. They said they recognised that the nature of the charges could cause distress to colleagues. Holyrood is a secure area. You literally can't get through the door without beeping your pass and scanning your fingerprint. Colin Smith's pass being revoked means he is effectively locked out of the building. The police have now swept all of the toilets and changing rooms at Holyrood, and the authorities say no covert recording devices were found. What have been described as enhanced additional checks will take place going forward. Smith, meanwhile, issued a statement saying that the allegation comes as an utter shock and that he rejects it. He says he is fully cooperating with the legal process and added that the speculation about the case has taken a serious toll on his health. He says he's had to move away to protect his family and he asked for their privacy to be respected. The Labour Party said it took swift action to suspend Smith after allegations came to light, and underlined that he is now sitting as an independent MSP. The investigation is ongoing and Smith is due to appear at Dumfries Sheriff Court at a later date.
And Phil joins us now. Phil, this all comes a week ahead of MSPs returning to Parliament after recess.
Indeed, the summer break is coming to an end. We now know that Colin Smith will not be among the MSPs heading back here next week. I mean, technically he could actually contribute remotely. During the pandemic, they set up this hybrid system where you can speak in the chamber or committee or indeed vote from home. I don't think anyone is expecting that to actually happen in this case, though. Colin Smith is the convener of Holyrood's Economy Committee, so some kind of interim position is going to need to be found there. There are still a few things essentially that need to be worked out in the Parliament, and frankly there's a sense of shock among MSPs who've been kicking around here, not just that there are these charges against a colleague, but the fact that the Parliament is now part of this case. So everyone will be awaiting updates, both in terms of any further information from the Parliament. I think the authorities here are very keen to offer reassurance where they can to building users, and also of course in terms of the criminal investigation, that remains a live investigation. It means frankly there's not very much more that anyone can say about it, but there will be updates in due course with Smith due to appear in court.
OK, Phil, many thanks indeed. 3 teenagers have been killed in a car crash in the Highlands. Police say the driver and 2 passengers who died were travelling in a Ford Fiesta when it was involved in a collision on the A830 near Arisaig. Our reporter Andrew Thompson is at the scene.
This is a busy route. It's known as the Road to the Isles and it connects Fort William with Mallaig. Last night it was closed for about 12 hours following this serious accident involving a white Ford Fiesta. Police have confirmed that 3 people died in the crash. They say that Formal identification is yet to take place, but they believe all the occupants of the vehicle were male and in their mid-teens. Now, the local secondary school, Lochaber High, has posted a message online saying that they're deeply saddened by this tragedy and their thoughts go out to everyone involved. Police Scotland, meanwhile, say that their inquiries into this crash are ongoing. Andrew Thompson, reporting Scotland, near Arisaig.
A doctor has been arrested over claims he posted abusive tweets about his son's rape victim. Dr. Andrew McFarlane, a GP in the Highlands, has been charged with communications offences. Well, Gillian Sharp is with us now. Gillian, remind us of the background to this.
Well, Laura, in 2022, Andrew McFarlane's son, Daniel, was convicted of raping Ellie Wilson and sentenced to 5 years in prison. Now, he'd been a medical student at Glasgow University. Ms Wilson has since become a campaigner for survivors of male sexual violence.
And what has happened now?
Well, Police Scotland say that a 61-year-old man had been arrested, charged with communications offences and released to appear in court at a later date. Dr McFarlane was reported to the General Medical Council for his social media comments earlier this year, when he had claimed that his son had been a victim of a miscarriage of justice, calling Ms Wilson a liar, claiming she'd blackmailed and abused his son. Now, Ms Wilson previously told the BBC her heart sank when she first read his remarks online.
OK, Gillian, many thanks indeed. Some of the day's other stories now. Police are investigating the death of a man in Kirkmuir Hill in Lanark as murder. 30-year-old Scott Boyd was found in the Braeside Crescent area in the early hours of Wednesday, along with another man who was injured. Police are asking anyone with information to get in touch. Members of Scotland's largest teaching union have voted to support a ballot on industrial action after a long-running dispute with the Scottish Government about teacher workload. 83% of EIS members were in favour of voting for strike action, with 92% backing a further poll on action short of a strike. A spokesperson for council body COSLA said industrial action in schools is in the interests of no one. The Scottish Government has been approached for comment. Children in Scotland will be vaccinated against chickenpox from January next year in tandem with the rest of the UK, according to the Health Secretary Neil Gray. The vaccine will be given as 2 doses at 12 and 18 months of age, combined with the existing MMR jab, which protects against measles, mumps and rubella. The Scottish Green Party has elected 2 new co-leaders. Gillian Mackay and Ross Greer were selected by members on a low turnout. Lorna Slater, who had been in the role since 2019, failed to win enough support to stay on. Our political correspondent Andrew Kerr was at the announcement in Edinburgh.
2 political allies about to become political leaders.
I can therefore confirm that Gillian Mackay and Ross Greer have been duly elected as the next co-leaders of the Scottish Green Party.
Gillian Mackay won in the first round of voting, Ross Greer on the second, but membership turnout was poor, just over 12%.
I think there's a difference between people turning out to vote in internal elections and people turning out to chap doors. It's a very different thing from each other, and I'm very confident that we'll have plenty of activists chapping doors across the country.
The party suffered internal strife, but looking outward, they claim they could win a record number of seats in the Holyrood election next year, and that could make them kingmakers.
It's up to the voters first and foremost to decide who they want in Parliament and what composition of parties could make up a government. There is no point in the Greens joining an SNP government just to deliver SNP policies. I think we should always be open, though, to the opportunity to deliver the ideas that we believe in.
So the Greens are turning over a new leaf with their fresh leadership team as the former co-leaders leave centre stage. The Greens had been in government before with the SNP, but the agreement collapsed last year. The former co-leader Patrick Harvey has stepped down, while Lorna Slater was ousted in the vote. Was that bruising time in government to blame?
It's impossible to say what, democratic process, but clearly the members have voted for Ross and Gillian to be their leadership team. That they're going to do a great job, and there's lots of other work that needs doing within the party. We need to upgrade our fundraising structure. We've got to prepare for a larger incoming group of MSPs.
One pollster analyses that repeated claim about a record number of MSPs. They got 8 last time round.
The election, if it were held now, and if that translated into the sort of seat distribution that we would expect, then they would have at least that, and possibly even 9 or 10. So, which would be a record haul for the Scottish Greens.
A moment to relax, but these two will want voters to get to know them and their policies. Andrew Kerr, reporting Scotland, Edinburgh.
Well, Amy is here. What is coming up on the 7 tonight?
Plenty on the programme, as always, Laura. So you were mentioning the fact that teachers have voted in favour of industrial action. So we're going to be joined by the General Secretary of the EIS Union just to talk more about what has led them to this point. And we've been talking a lot about this non-class contact time being reduced by an hour and a half. The fact it doesn't sound like much, but what does that actually mean for teachers in real life? So we're going to talk to more the General Secretary of the EIS, and also we'll have a doctor on the show to talk to us more about the chickenpox vaccine that's going to be rolled out from next year too.
Yeah, a lot of parents want to know about that.
Definitely.
Great. Thank you very much. Now, a family of show people who have lived in Glasgow's Govan area for more than 40 years are facing eviction to make way for a multi-million-pound regeneration plan. Glasgow City Council says the Stringfellows have no right to occupy the land. Lawyers acting for the family say their 5-year-old granddaughter's rights have not been taken into account. Our social affairs correspondent Chris Clements explains.
And how old are you?
I'm 39.
You've had a hard life, eh?
We're visiting Jimmy Stringfellow. So how long have you stayed in the site?
43, 44 years.
And so did you put all of these up yourself, or?
There was nothing on this. This was a dump. It was a coop. You know what a coop is, don't you?
I know what a coop is, aye.
Aye, well, it was a coop.
Jimmy's a well-kent figure in Govan, a retired showman in the legal battle of his life. Next week, Jimmy and his family will face off against a council looking to evict him from this land by the Clyde, where they say they've lived since the 80s. It's not the first time he says he's faced off against the powers that be.
Well, you've heard of Robin Hood. I've had more sheriffs than Robin Hood. Every case we went to, we won it. Or it was a draw. It's the way the system is. They don't like me. Okay? They don't like me. Because I stand up to them. And I'm not frightened of the fictitious authority. Go away. Come back when you're older.
Govan is getting a revamp. New flats, new bridge, new waterfront. But tucked away in the land is Jimmy's yard. Once again, the family are threatened with eviction, and they're going all the way to the Court of Session to defend against it. 8 people live in the yard, including Jimmy's granddaughter.
Says Chrissy likes juice.
Her mother Chanel has lived here almost all her life.
She doesn't really understand what's going on because she's young, but she knows something's. She knows people's trying to take her out of her yard, out of her home. So I've had to sit her down. I've had to explain to her that what is happening, but in a way that she can understand it and not worry about it. I tried to do with her what my parents done with me.
The legal team will argue that by evicting the girl, the council will be breaching her right to a secure home.
It's our home, it's my memories. It's like you getting put out your family home where you was born. I mean, you can win as many cases as you like, but you only need to lose one.
The council say the Stringfellows have no right to occupy the land and has raised a legal action as a last resort. It says it would be inappropriate to comment further before the case begins. It'll start next Tuesday, is expected to last 2 weeks before a judgment later in the year. Chris Clements, reporting Scotland, Govan.
Time now for All Tonight Sport with Lewis.
Thanks very much, Laura, and a big weekend ahead. Thanks very much. Good evening. Rangers head coach Russell Martin says it's time for action as he prepares his team for the first Old Firm derby of the season, and added that Belgian midfielder Nico Rascan was in training today despite speculation about a move away from Ibrox. Meanwhile, Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers says there's no greater game to come back to after their fruitless trip to Kazakhstan. Kenny Crawford has more.
It's a fixture neither of Glasgow's great rivals can ever bear to lose, but even more so this Sunday, in light of a woeful week of chastening Champions League playoff results.
We don't want it to snowball into 1 bad, 2 bad, 3 bad, and then all of a sudden you're really up against it. So players have to stick together, everyone's got to stick together. We want to go there every time we play football, we want to win. It's no different on Sunday. again, there's a little bit of pressure that will come with this result. And what a way to go and put it right if you can go there and win.
Putting things right is also high on Russell Martin's agenda, with sports scribes circling after the battering in Bruges, which made it just 3 wins in 10 games.
This is football. It means so much to everyone, but there's a lot of tougher things to endure. So, yeah, as I said, this job isn't for the timid. We'll give it everything, and I'm enjoying it. Might surprise you to say that, but I am. We are. And now we have to make sure that we win as many games as we can.
I think Russell Martin, he probably wouldn't say it publicly, he would take a draw.
Yeah.
He's got to take it, given what's happened to him so far. That would be 4 draws in a row in the league, mind you. Yeah. Brendan Rodgers, I don't think would take a draw. He's used to winning these games, or the vast majority of them. So I don't think, even though the game's at Ibrox, I think he'll be looking for a victory.
All the action will unfold through these gates at midday on Sunday, and both squads will have a different look to them after a busy few days of transfer activity.
Hamza Igman. It opens up for the Moroccan, and he's put it in the top corner!
Want-away striker Hamza Igman scored a derby winner for Rangers in March, but the 22-year-old's move to French club Lille has been completed.
Might break yet for Celtic. It's Aramida! There's the equaliser!
Across the city, it looks like the forward who earned Celtic a draw in May is close to sealing a move to Swansea City. That will lift the Irishman out of the Glasgow Goldfish Bowl. Meanwhile, jumping into it on a 5-year deal from Royal Antwerp is Belgian winger Michel-Ange Balikwisha. And he'll be joined by Uruguayan left-back Marcelo Soraki. Whether that pair feature or not, they'll soon realise it's a whole new experience. Kenny Crawford, reporting Scotland.
Well, both Celtic and Rangers discovered their opponents in the Europa League after today's draw, and so too did Aberdeen, who will play in the Conference League. We'll start with Rangers, who were a pot 1 side for their draw. Roma, Braga, Ludogorets and Genk will all come to Ibrox with away trips to Porto, Hungarian side Ferencváros, Sturm Graz of Austria and Norwegian side Brann. On to Celtic, they were in pot 2 and their draw is actually quite similar to Rangers. They'll also host Roma and Braga, as well as taking on Sturm Graz too at Celtic Park. Utrecht is the other home game for Brendan Rodgers' side. In terms of away trips for Celtic fans, Feyenoord, Red Star Belgrade, Midtjylland and Lewis Ferguson's Bologna, all to look forward to. And now on to Aberdeen. They face Shakhtar Donetsk at Pataudry, along with Strasbourg and Armenian side Noah, while facing trips to Sparta Prague, AEK Athens and Larnaca of Cyprus. Fixture dates are not confirmed yet. They will be revealed over the weekend. OK, the Dons are in that competition after being eliminated in the Europa League playoff at the hands of FCSB in Romania. And Jimmy Tillene has urged his players to move on quickly ahead of a return to Premiership action against Falkirk. Aberdeen started the match positively, but this controversial decision just before the break swung the game in favour of the home side. Alexander Jensen was given a second yellow card for that handball, and FCSB scored the resultant penalty. They went on to win the game 3-0 to go through 5-2 on aggregate. Tough night for the Dons, but the manager didn't want to focus on that penalty decision.
Yeah, it's not an excuse, but it's a tough one, and of course it changed the dynamic of the game, but that's what it is right now. And again, over 2 games, this situation when we get punished and we can't punish them, that's the difference over 2 games.
And the European journey is over for Hibernian, but manager David Gray says he's proud of his players as they ran Legia Warsaw close in the Conference League playoff before going out in heartbreaking fashion. The Easter Road side, trailing 2-1 from the first leg, silenced the hostile home crowd in the Polish capital with an incredible 3 goals in 11 second-half minutes from Rocky Bashiri, Martin Boyle and then Miguel Chaiwa there to lead 3-1 on the night, 4-3 on aggregate. But Jurgen Illetim's 93rd minute finish took a breathtaking encounter to extra time, and the dream of going through was crushed when Mileta Rajovic smashed past goalkeeper Jordan Smith 8 minutes after the restart.
I asked them at half-time to be braver than we were in the first half, and we were 45 minutes away from doing something this club haven't done before, and then we've ended up being whatever it was, 2 minutes away. I mean, the level of performance, the bravery of every player, everyone that came on the pitch, really proud of that performance, and we need to remember this feeling. This is a really sore feeling right now, and I've also just reminded the players of how far this club has come, how far that group of players has come.
Now to rugby, and Scotland hooker Ellis Martin says they'll treat every World Cup match the same as their opener against Wales as they prepare to take on Fiji tomorrow. Confidence is high in the squad after that impressive win, but they're not getting carried away, as Andy Burke reports from Manchester.
Well, Scotland made the perfect start to their Rugby World Cup campaign with that dominant victory over Wales last weekend, and the mood in the Scotland camp here ahead of this match against Fiji is very good indeed. They've put themselves in a fantastic position in Pool B, and now the challenge is to reach once again the lofty heights that they hit on match day 1.
Obviously Wales, Scotland is, I think years ago we called it the grudge match, and that stuck quite well, but actually we've got just the same amount of emotion and just the same amount of energy going into this game. Realistically, every single game now, until hopefully the latter stages, is going to carry on being that. So keeping that emotion the same, keeping the clarity and the calmness and the readiness, as I said before, is going to be the biggest thing to put on a performance, and I think we are ready to do that, which is exciting.
Well, if, as expected, the pool favourites Canada beat Wales in the early kick-off tomorrow, Scotland will take to the field against Fiji knowing that a victory will guarantee a place in the World Cup quarter-finals for the first time since 2002. You'll be able to watch Scotland versus Fiji on BBC Two, on the iPlayer and at the BBC Sports Scotland website. Andy Burke, reporting Scotland, Manchester.
Yeah, so it could be a really big weekend for Scotland there. Here's hoping they can get the result they need, Laura, and make it a positive week.
That would be great.
And a bit of transfer news before I go as well, because Hearts have signed Brazilian midfielder Aju for what the Edinburgh club say is their record transfer deal.
Gosh, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, sticking with sporting endeavours, because three brothers from Edinburgh are on the verge of entering the record books for completing the fastest ever human-powered crossing of the Pacific Ocean. In just a few hours, rowers Jamie, Ewan and Lachlan McLean are expected to arrive in Australia after setting off from Peru more than 4 months ago. Among their supporters on the 9,000-mile journey have been the residents of an Edinburgh care home who've been following their progress. Stephen Godden has more.
It's Lachlan's birthday. After more than 4 months rowing across the Pacific Ocean, the finish line in Australia is in sight for the McLean brothers from Edinburgh.
We've been rowing hard to get across the current. We're over it now. We're through the Great Barrier Reef. We truly are onto the home straight and due to arrive tomorrow, which is very, very surreal.
Assuming no last-minute hiccups, Lachlan, Ewan and Jamie will set a new world record. Among their biggest supporters, family friend Sheila Birtles, who's followed every stroke of their 9,000-mile journey.
Fascination, admiration. I'm lucky to have existed to this age, to have actually seen this happen, and with people I've had the greatest fortune to know very well.
Sheila now lives in the same Edinburgh care home where the brothers used to visit their gran. The residents have become fully invested in the challenge, raising funds and even rowing in solidarity.
I wanted to build a replica. It turns out I'm not that skilled, and we just had to settle. We just had to settle for a nice visual prompt for the residents to have when they do, you know, their rowing.
2 or 3 years ago, I could stand on my head and do various things. So basically, I'm quite a fit person. And strangely enough, when I got into this situation, I thought, oh, it'll be agony, but I'll do it.
Events like this bake sale have helped with the brothers' efforts to raise money for clean water projects in Madagascar.
People like Sheila, who, you know, Dad's known for many, many years. We kind of knew as wee boys, but I think, you know, it's stories like that. It's so heartwarming. It really is, and it's far beyond what we could have ever imagined. And it's incredible that, you know, they've been able to, I guess, follow along and really enjoy the story.
A boy's own adventure that's very nearly at an end. Stephen Godden reporting Scotland.
Great effort all round. Time now for a look at the weather with Kirstine.
Yes, Laura, I thought this picture really summed up today's weather. We've had some spells of sunshine and we've also had some really quite some whoppers of showers across much of the country, but some beautiful rainbows to be had as well. Thanks very much. Good evening to you. Yes, it's been an unsettled day of weather, a threatening sky here in Ayr this afternoon, and the changeable, unsettled theme continues. We've had low pressure overhead today, and then we have another area of low pressure, a deepening low moving in off the Atlantic tomorrow, with a clutch of weather fronts bringing spells of rain and tightening isobars indicating strengthening winds, and that low is going nowhere fast, so maintaining unsettled conditions right into next week. This evening, though, many of the showers will fade. Still a few continuing in the west and south for a time, but generally clear spells developing overnight. And it'll be another fairly mild one with lows of around 9 to 12 or 13 Celsius. So to tomorrow then, and we start with a lot of dry, bright weather, just the odd shower ahead of this band of rain, which will sweep in during the course of the afternoon from the southwest. So a wet afternoon, persistent and at times heavy rain affecting southern, central and western Scotland. And that will be accompanied by strengthening south to southeasterly winds, strong gusts along western coasts and islands. Come further north though tomorrow afternoon for Lewis and Harris. Through much of the Highlands towards the Northern Isles, it's looking dry with spells of brightness and sunshine. A similar story for Murray and Aberdeenshire with a top temperature of around 19 or 20 Celsius. However, into tomorrow evening, that rain will continue its journey northeastwards, pushing through the Northern Isles, gradually becoming confined to Shetland during the early hours of Sunday morning. So looking ahead to Sunday, and that same area of low pressure is going to remain anchored to the west. Still fairly tightly packed isobars, a wraparound occlusion bringing plenty of showers our way, but much the same as Saturday. We'll start the day with a lot of dry weather, some morning sunshine, and then here come the showers. They'll be heaviest and most frequent in the west and through southern Scotland, the odd rumble of thunder in the mix, merging at times around western coasts to give longer spells of rain, and the winds will pick up again, particularly around western coasts. To Monday, and it's spot the difference really. Some brightness, some sunshine, but also some heavy downpours breaking out, again with the risk of the odd rumble of thunder, and it stays fairly blustery, particularly around western coasts, and showery further into next week too. That's the forecast. Back to you, Laura.
Kirsten, thank you. I'm away to Google wraparound occlusion. Thank you very much. Now tonight's main news again. Suspended Labour MSP Colin Smith has denied hiding a secret camera in a toilet at the Scottish Parliament. And 3 teenagers have been killed in a crash on the A830 near Arrowsick in the Highlands. And that's where we leave you. Bye-bye.